Your voice matters. Use it. Because silence has a cost, and she paid it for 8 long years. This is not her name, not her face, but it is her story, and it could belong to any woman who learned to smile while breaking inside. She married him believing love meant patience, that compromise was proof of loyalty, that a good woman adjusts. In the beginning, he was charm wrapped in promises, the kind of man who spoke softly in public and ruled brutally in private. Slowly, expertly, he rewrote her reality. If she cried, she was too sensitive. If she questioned him, she was ungrateful. If she succeeded, he reminded her it was because of him. He never raised his hand, he didn't need to, his words were sharp enough to bruise her spirit daily. He isolated her with concern disguised as care, pulled her away from friends who didn't respect the marriage, from family who filled her head with nonsense. Every argument ended the same way. Her apologizing for wounds he caused. And she stayed. Not because she was weak, but because society trained her to be strong in the wrong way. She carried the weight of family honor, of whispers and stares, of being told that divorce is failure and endurance is virtue. So she endured. She endured gaslighting that made her doubt her own memory. She endured nights where her voice trembled but never rose. She endured becoming smaller so his ego could feel larger. 8 years of swallowing words, of convincing herself this is what marriage looks like, of hoping tomorrow he would change. Until one day, something cracked, not loudly, not dramatically, but deeply. She looked at herself and didn't recognize the woman staring back. Her dreams were tired. Her laughter was borrowed. Her silence had become heavier than his cruelty. That was the moment she understood a terrifying truth: staying was killing her faster than leaving ever could. And for the first time in 8 years, she didn't explain, didn't justify, didn't apologize. She spoke. Her voice shook, but it didn't break. She chose herself over fear, dignity over approval, truth over comfort. Life didn't end when she used her voice, it began again. Divorce wasn't her shame, it was her rebirth. And this is only the beginning of her story. When she finally spoke, the world didn't clap for her courage, it questioned it. They asked her what she did wrong, why she couldn't adjust a little more, why she was breaking a home instead of saving it. But this time, their voices were background noise, because she had spent 8 years learning what silence sounds like, and she refused to return there. Her narcissist husband didn't beg her to stay, he tried something far more dangerous: he played the victim. He painted her as unstable, dramatic, selfish. He reminded her of favors, of money, of years she owed him. He tried to pull her back with guilt, then with rage, then with promises he had never kept before. But she had awakened, and a woman who wakes up is no longer easy to control. Each word she spoke felt like reclaiming stolen ground. Each boundary felt like oxygen after drowning. She cried, yes, but these were cleansing tears, not helpless ones. For the first time, she wasn't fighting to be chosen, she was choosing herself. And life, as if waiting for her permission, opened new doors. She rediscovered her confidence in quiet moments, her strength in saying no, her beauty in standing alone without explanation. Freedom didn't arrive as fireworks, it came as peace. Peace in waking up without fear. Peace in trusting her own thoughts again. Peace in knowing her voice could protect her. She learned that love never demands your silence, that marriage is not a prison sentence, and that a woman is not born to be sacrificed at the altar of society's comfort. Today, she stands taller, not because life became easier, but because she became braver. Her story is not about divorce, it's about survival. It's about the day she chose truth over tolerance. And if you are listening to this with a heavy heart, wondering how much longer you can stay quiet, let this be your reminder: your voice matters. Use it. Because the moment you speak for yourself is the moment your life starts listening back. After she left, the hardest battles were not outside, they were within her. The silence in her new life was unfamiliar, almost frightening, because she had been conditioned to chaos. There were days she questioned herself, nights when his voice echoed in her mind, telling her she was nothing without him. Healing was not poetic, it was messy, slow, and painfully honest. She had to unlearn the belief that love hurts, that endurance is devotion, that a woman's worth lies in how much she can tolerate. Some mornings, courage looked like simply getting out of bed. Some evenings, strength meant not answering a call that once controlled her heartbeat. But with every passing day, her spine grew stronger. She began to trust her instincts again, to honor the red flags she once painted white. She started rebuilding her life not to prove anyone wrong, but to feel right within herself. And something beautiful happened, she stopped surviving and started living. She laughed without permission. She spoke without fear. She dreamed without limits. Her scars didn't disappear, but they transformed into reminders of how far she had come. Today, she doesn't introduce herself as a victim or a divorced woman, she introduces herself as free. Free from manipulation, free from guilt, free from the lie that silence is strength. And if her story reaches you, let it light a fire inside your chest. You are not dramatic for speaking. You are not selfish for choosing peace. You are not weak for walking away. Your voice is not a threat, it is your power. Use it, before the world convinces you to forget you ever had one. With time, she realized something even deeper, her voice didn't just save her, it began to heal others. Women started seeing themselves in her story, in her courage, in the quiet strength she carried without shouting it from rooftops. She no longer spoke from anger, but from truth. From experience carved into her bones. She understood now that narcissistic love is loud in promises but empty in action, and real love never asks you to disappear to make someone else feel whole. She forgave herself for staying so long, for ignoring her intuition, for believing she could love someone into becoming better. That forgiveness became her final freedom. She stopped explaining her past to people who were committed to misunderstanding her. She stopped shrinking her truth to fit into spaces that couldn't hold it. Life didn't magically turn perfect, but it turned honest. She built a future rooted in self-respect, not fear. And when she looks back at the woman she once was, she doesn't feel shame, she feels pride. Pride for surviving what was meant to break her. Pride for choosing herself when it was the hardest thing to do. So if you're standing at the edge of your own truth, trembling, unsure if your voice will be enough, remember this: one brave sentence can end years of suffering. One decision can rewrite your destiny. Your voice matters. Use it. Because the moment you stop silencing yourself, the world finally hears who you truly are. If you are living a life that feels heavy in your chest, if your smiles are practiced and your tears are hidden, hear this with your whole heart. Love should never make you afraid to speak. A partner who truly loves you will not twist your words, erase your feelings, or punish you for having a voice. If you constantly feel confused, guilty, or not enough, it is not because you are failing, it is because you are being manipulated. Narcissistic abuse is subtle, slow, and deeply damaging, and the most dangerous lie it tells you is that you are the problem. You are not. Start by trusting the discomfort you keep explaining away. That tight feeling in your stomach, that exhaustion you can't name, that fear of expressing your thoughts, those are signals, not weaknesses. Don't let society convince you that suffering is strength or that endurance is the price of respect. A marriage is not successful just because it survives. It is successful when both people feel safe, seen, and valued. Talk to someone you trust. Write your truth even if you can't speak it yet. Collect clarity before you collect courage. Courage grows when you stop doubting your reality. And remember, leaving doesn't always begin with walking out, sometimes it begins with setting boundaries, with saying this hurts, with refusing to be silenced one more time. If you choose to stay, demand respect. If you choose to leave, know that your life does not end, it expands. Divorce is not the end of your worth, and staying is not proof of your loyalty. You do not owe anyone your mental health, your dreams, or your identity in the name of love or honor. Heal at your own pace. Forgive yourself for the time it took to see clearly. Strength is not how long you can endure pain, strength is knowing when to stop accepting it. And if you are waiting for a sign, let this be it. Your voice is not too much. Your feelings are not dramatic. Your truth is not dangerous. It is necessary. Use your voice, softly or loudly, trembling or steady, but use it. Because the day you choose yourself is the day your life finally begins.